This is the Skoda Elroq, the brand's new electric mid-size SUV that sits underneath the Enyaq, and this is a pre-production model. So in this shorter review, I'm going to tell you some stuff you need to know about it, including the pricing and some specs as well, but not everything. So make sure you ring the bell and you'll be notified when I get a chance to do that review in the coming months. But let's check it out, shall we? The new Elroq. Looks good, doesn't it? There are a couple of different versions of the Elroq available in Australia at launch. The entry-level one is called the 85 and it starts at $54,990 plus on-road costs. And it gives you plenty of standard spec and tech for that money. Things like LED lighting around the car, you're getting 19-inch alloy wheels, some recycled materials on the inside, heated front seats and a heated steering wheel as well. And then there's this one here, which is the 130 edition. It starts at $64,990 plus on-road costs and it gets you a few extras that you will appreciate, including 21-inch wheels, matrix LED lights. There's also a 13-inch touchscreen media system as there is in the entry-level version. Plus you're getting things like power front adjustable seats with memory and massage settings, a 360-degree camera, 12-speaker stereo system, a power tailgate, auto parking, and a few other features beyond that. So this one at $65,000 might be a little bit more expensive than some of the cheap EV rivals out there, but it's also a little bit better as far as I can tell so far. Now, let's talk about some alternatives that you might want to consider before learning even more about the Elroq. All right, if you're thinking about spending this kind of money on an electric SUV, I reckon there's one you should look at called the XPeng G6. It is pretty impressive in a lot of ways, not annoying when it comes to the safety tech, easy to drive and pretty dynamic to drive as well. It's got a nice interior and it feels pretty plush and it's a little bit larger as well, so it might be great if you're looking for that. There's also the new generation Model Y, and I mean, it's a Tesla. You might have your own thoughts about whether you could consider buying one, but I do think that it does do a lot of things really well, including the practicality element, and it's a very easy vehicle to drive too. And finally, if you are thinking of a small SUV and maybe even a little bit smaller than this, you could have a look at the Hyundai Kona Electric. It has plenty of great options in that lineup for you to choose from. It's maybe not as dynamic feeling to drive as some of the rear-wheel drive SUVs in this segment, but it could be better for your budget. Tell me what you think in the comments. Which one would you pick? It is a mid-sized SUV. It might be built on the same underpinnings as the Skoda Enyaq, which is a much longer vehicle, but I'll put all the dimensions on your screen now so you can see for yourself just how large it isn't. It does have that wheel at each corner sort of stance to it, and these 21-inch wheels, I think, look really good. I'm a real fan of the design of this vehicle. I think it has a nice, tidy finish front and rear, and this one also gets the dynamic indicators at the back. Now, Skodas are known for offering lots and lots of cleverness in the boot, so let's have a look and see what we are working with. The cargo capacity for this vehicle is 470 litres. Obviously, it expands significantly when you fold those seats down. You also get a ski port in the back there, so you can adjust things to suit your needs. There's plenty of nets and another set up here, so you could maybe put your charge cables under there if you wanted to, because otherwise your charge cables are underneath here. And yes, that means there is no spare. You get a tire repair kit, but you do get charge cables included, which is great to see. You get netting sections, you get these little dividers. There's lots and lots of hooks for your shopping bags, lights, and so forth. Plenty of practicality. It's a thoughtful SUV. The interior of the Skoda Elroq is definitely a nice place to sit because, well, it feels like an Enyaq and it's cheaper than an Enyaq, and that's a good thing in my mind. And there's some good stuff in terms of the tech here. You've got a 5-inch digital instrument cluster for the driver. Very simple, but very easy to get your head around. And up there you'll see not just people, but also an augmented reality head-up display, which is actually pretty bloody handy. And it will show your Apple Maps if you're using Apple CarPlay connected there, so you can get your directions on that head-up display. Now, I won't go into too much detail on this screen. It does have quite a lot of information. There's drop-downs, there's all sorts of configurability to your favorites up here, but I'll save a bit of that info for later on. But you do need to know that you've got a climate bar down the bottom here. Your seat heating controls are on the edges speakers there, and you've got a scroller sort of thing for your volume for the stereo. So that's something that will take some getting used to, but you do have buttons down below to basically get to terms with this screen a little easier. So if you want to, you can go into your drive modes by hitting that switch there, and you've also got your assist functions if you want to turn some of those off. Down here, you'll find a wireless phone charger. You've got another little storage tray there, cup holders between the seats, a good storage bin here, and also a big storage area underneath there. And in here, you'll find you've got even more storage that's configurable. You can take that bit out, and in there, you've got a section that you could maybe put your sunnies in. You can pull that out too if you want to as well. So it is a very practical amount of space in this cabin, and you've got lined door pockets, big enough for bottles. There's a glove box as well, maybe not as big as it could be, but these seats are lovely. They are made with a recycled fishnet finish in here. They look great. Love those seat belts in this grade as well. And generally, I think the vibe in here is very, very tidy. Nice indeed. Now let's check out the backseat space and see what it's like. Okay, so it is a mid-sized SUV, and that means that it should have good space in the back. This seat is set for my driving position. I'm 6 foot tall, and I've got a good amount of foot wiggle room there, decent knee room, and headroom is also pretty good for a vehicle of this size. So if you've got tall teens, I think this one probably will do the job for you. And there's some really great features in the back too. Not only do you get grab handles and hooks and other hooks here, that one's for a cargo net system if you want to do that, but you also get things like map pockets with device holders. You've got vents here as well as climate control and seat heating in this 130 edition for the rear seats. There's USB-C ports down there. They are 45 watt USB-C, so they can charge a laptop, which is excellent. And you've also got this removable section here. If you don't want that in the way, well, you can get rid of it. And you're getting a flip down armrest with pop-up cup holders there. And this one, as I said, is a ski port. So plenty of space in the back, plenty of practicality, and lots of smarts. It's a lovely backseat experience. The Elroq runs an 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, so that is a decent sized battery for a vehicle of this size and offers plenty of range. More than 500 Ks is the rated standard driving range and 660 for city driving. So if you know that you are going to do lots of urban driving, it might be a great choice for you. Now, your charge port is on the driver's side rear, which might not be ideal for everyone, especially if you're a street parker, but you do get 11 kilowatt AC charging, which is a nice thing to have. 3-phase power, of course, required to get the maximum charge there. And you've also got 175 kilowatt DC charging. So that should mean 10 to 80% in a very short 28 minutes from a DC charger. So it's got the charging specs, and it does have a big amount of EV driving range. It's just whether you can live with the charge port being on that side of the car or not. Welcome to Luddenham Raceway, and you might have seen this track on Mighty Car Mods. I'm not going to be trying to be Marty or Moog with this video. I'm just driving it to get an idea of what it feels like, because it's a pre-production car, so legally I'm not allowed to drive it on actual roads. I will drive it on actual roads at a later date, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell and you'll be notified when I get a chance to. And in that instance, I will tell you a lot more about the drive experience, but what I can tell you so far is that it feels pretty good. And in fact, the thing that's standing out to me is that it feels complete. This does feel like a well-engineered and likable thing just off my first few minutes of driving. I think it feels more natural and more car-like than some of the other affordable vehicles that you might be considering that are fully electric. Well, I'm namely talking about ones from China, which often can feel like they're a few software updates away from being the finished product. This one already feels complete, it feels ready to go, and it feels very bloody good. I like the way it drives, I like the steering, it's got a nice natural feel to it. It does have 21-inch wheels with low profile tires and a whole lot of battery in between the front and rear axles, so it does feel a little stiff, but I suspect that it will be pretty good on open road situations, and also I suspect it'll be maybe a little bit sharp over sharp bumps and so forth. That's a bit of a trait of this platform in particular. Now, it's also got regenerative braking, so it's in B mode right now, and if I take my foot off the accelerator, it will come down in speed nicely and in a nice measured manner. I like that about it. You don't have paddle shifters to adjust that though, so that might be something you want to keep in mind. And generally, I think the brake pedal feel is pretty good too. So I've been mainly using the regen braking, just lifting off the accelerator rather than tapping the brakes, because you don't really need to. And if you are conscious of braking performance, this vehicle, like lots of other MEB platform models, has drum brakes at the rear rather than discs. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And in terms of the refinement, I mean, I'm not necessarily testing the open road cruising air noise and wind noise and road noise in this test, but it seems all right for a car on 21s. And look, I will tell you more about efficiency and real world driving stuff in my more detailed review later on. So please subscribe and ring the bell and you'll be notified when it comes out. So there you have it, the Skoda Elroq electric SUV. I think it could be a very compelling choice for people who are looking for an electric SUV that feels like the finished product, and I've got a lot more to tell you about it, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, and when I get a chance to drive it on actual roads, I'll be able to tell you everything else you need to know. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. See you later.